I want to thank you so much for coming.
Sure, of course.
My name is Michelle Amerson. I am an older, wiser scholar here at the Alabama State University, and I also happen to be the editor-in-chief of the Hornet Tribune.
Excellent.
So, one, I want to welcome you here today, and thank you for taking out your time. Now, I have a couple of questions. Okay. So you are the Poet Laureate of the state of Alabama, right?
That is correct.
Okay. You earned your bachelor's of arts degree from Huntington College, is that right?
That is correct.
Your master's of art and your PhD in English from the University of Alabama?
That is correct.
So you are a professor of English.
Yes.
Creative writing.
Yes.
A wife, a mother, a literary voice that carries both scholarship and soul.
Allegedly.
I like it. So tell me this. For those who may not know the titles and may not know the woman, how do you define yourself without the accolades?
Oh, just Jackie. Just Jackie. A long time ago, there was a wonderful dean here. Her name was Alma Susan Freeman. She was the dean of University College. She also was instrumental in a very famous lawsuit for the university called the Knight case. And she was a graduate of Alabama State. She got her PhD, I believe, from Rutgers University. But she told me a long time ago, when I was a very young faculty member, I had just started here. I was so young that the students did not believe I was the faculty member. I would go into class and they would say, "Stop playing. You know you one of us."
I love it. You have that, as they say, God. Black don't crack.
Hey,
it does not.
Mean, I was ridiculously young. But she said, you know, the thing I like about you, Jackie, is you're always just Jackie. It's like wherever you go, you just are yourself. Whoever you meet, you just are yourself. And so that's the way I think of myself.
It's just Jackie.
It's just Jackie.
I mean,
because titles, it's so funny because people treat you differently.
They do.
When you have a certain title, but I'm the same exact person
that you
and
were.
It's funny to me. It's funny to me to see the different reactions of people as I have moved up in whatever, and I'm thinking this is silly.
So, do you think that comes with the maturity of the people that you're dealing with, or just ignorance?
I think it's just the way people. People believe in hierarchies in the world. And I think it's the way we've been taught to revere hierarchies. I think every person should be respected. But I think that we are mesmerized by titles.
We are. I can say I was the same way when I was younger. Now that I'm older, a title really doesn't mean much if you don't have substance.
Correct.
Right, and I meet a lot of people who do not have.
Correct. I mean, anybody, you can get yourself a title.
Oh yeah.
You can go on the internet and buy yourself a title. For $20.
And what's so funny? We were talking about this the other day. That blue check.
Blue check.
No, blue check.
No,
blue check.
I've heard, people have actually said to me, "Girl, I got a blue check." I'm like, oh God, who cares?
For $17.99 a month.
Who cares?
That part, right? I'm like, what does that do for me?
What does that mean?
And what does it mean? And a lot of times, people get so hung up on titles, accolades, and they don't have substance. Yeah. And then with me being older, wiser, it's I look at things cynically now.
Yeah. Don't get cynical. Don't get cynical because, and I think everybody goes through that period, but what I have found is even though the crazy people, the mean people are loudest.
They are. I can agree with that.
They're more good people. They're more solid people. They're more people just trying to, make it in the world and find their own bliss, their own happiness. So don't let the yahoos bring you down.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So as a poet, you're always on task, huh?
That's the way I see the world.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay, sure.
When you were appointed Poet Laureate of Alabama, what shifted in you?
You know, the best part of that is that you are really chosen by your peers in the state of Alabama. And it's a weird and long nomination process and vetting process. But the thing that gives me the most gratification is when the people who know me best, who worked with me, who know my work, when those people choose you, it's really special.
I can agree. So you said it's a process.
Yeah.
What's the process? How long does it take?
Okay, so it's months and months and months. Yeah, so what happens is, so in 1930, the Alabama legislature tasked an organization called the Alabama Writers Conclave that is now the Alabama Writers Cooperative with the job of nominating the Poet Laureate of Alabama. Okay. So what they do is they solicit nominations from all over the state. Anybody in the state can nominate someone to be the Poet Laureate. The Poet Laureate has to fit a set of criteria, like you have to have at least one published book, you have to have national publications, you have to be involved in the poetry community in the state of Alabama, you have to have helped other poets. So they're like this list of criteria.
Oh, wow.
So your nominator has to write a letter, and then they reach out to you and say, you have to turn in a work sample, you have to turn in a curriculum vitae, a CV of your work, you have to show how you have engaged in the poetry community, and you have to show your history of publication. So they get these nominations in, and they have a committee, and the committee goes through the nominations, and they choose who they think best fits the criteria out of the nominations. That nomination then goes to the executive board of the Alabama Writers Cooperative, and they say yay or nay. They can vote you up or down, they can choose somebody else, they can say go back to the drawing board, but they can choose you as the nominee. Then the nominee that the committee has chosen and the executive board has approved, that person then goes to the body. So there's a fall meeting of the Alabama Writers. It's like a writers conference. Okay. And then they put your name forward, and then the membership votes on you. So they can vote you up or down.
Oh, wow.
And then once they vote on you, then that name, the president puts that name forth to the governor and says, this is the person we have selected as the Poet Laureate. And then
that's a lengthy process.
It's a lengthy process. It's months and months. It's like months and months and months. Yeah.
So tell me this, listening to that, that means that you were in competition with a lot.
Yeah, with other people who had been nominated in the state. Yeah.
Do you happen to know how many?
I'm
just curious.
I don't know. That would be a question for Alabama Writers Conclave. It's usually not a vast number because of the criteria.
Now, how do you become a part of that? You call it the Alabama Writers Conclave.
So you don't have to be a member of the conclave. But you can join the conclave.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can go to Alabama Writers Conclave, and they would love for you to join. They have, writing conferences, they have workshops, they have all sorts of things all over the state.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that definitely could be brought to Alabama State for students.
Oh,
or
sure.
to be made more aware of, right?
They can be made aware of it because it's really, they have both amateur and professional writers. So you could be a writer pretty much at any level and join the conclave.
Really? I think that would be something great to bring to Alabama State,
sure.
Especially for young people who are wanting to write or learn more about poetry.
It's something we could let people know about because the organization is a statewide organization. They don't have chapters. It's just one Alabama Writers Conclave. But students would be great to join.
You know what? I'm definitely going to talk to some people about it and see how we can get that started.
We can just get it. All you have to do is advertise. They go online, and it's an individual membership.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know how much that would be for a student?
It's really inexpensive. I want to say it's like maybe $25 for a membership.
That's actually cheaper than Netflix.
And you get.
I'm just saying.
There's also there. You know what? There are a lot of great writing organizations in the state of Alabama. There's Alabama Writers Forum, which is another statewide organization, and it's a partner with the Alabama State Council on the Arts that provides all sorts of supports to arts across the board: literary arts, dance, music, fine arts, pottery, etc.
Wow.
And Alabama Writers Forum is a great organization. They have a magazine that they publish quarterly. They have book reviews. They have all sorts of things. They also have this great project with incarcerated youth where they go into the youth facilities and they teach writing. They teach poetry.
Oh, I love that.
It's
and it
fantastic.
keeps the mind from being stagnant.
Correct. And
You know?
it cuts down the recidivism of the young people because it gives them a way to express their feelings.
It does.
It would break
does.
your heart, the things they write.
Really.
And they publish at each of the facilities, they publish a anthology every year.
You know, when you say that, it kind of struck me just a little bit because I notice when writing poetry or journaling,
Yeah.
it's a place where you're safe.
Yes.
And your thoughts are
Yes.
your thoughts are heard on paper with pen,
Yes.
right? And I love that about being able to express how I feel without hearing feedback from others.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't want the feedback or need it, but we receive it.
We just want to get it out.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Get it out. And it's just segueing into that, and you made this part happen. I was reading one of your poems.
Okay.
It said, "What if the Supreme Court
Yeah.
were really the Supremes?" Right?
Yes.
I laughed at it.
Yeah.
Then I got kind of uncomfortable.
Yes.
Do you enjoy making your readers laugh and then making them uneasy?
Yes. That's
Tell
my.
me what-
So that's my style. I mean, it's kind of like what comedians do. Like they bring you in and you're laughing, ha 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 ha, and then they punch you in the gut.
You did.
And I think that because, you want people to think about what you're saying.
You do.
And you don't want them to put their defenses up. And if they're laughing, their defenses are not up.
That's true.
And then as they're laughing, they are beginning to think about what you're saying. And then they go, they have an aha moment.
And you have made that pretty clear that you make us think, and a lot of aha moments. You read several. I'm thinking about the event that I went to yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I had the opportunity to listen to you and the other poets.
Ashley Jones. Yes.
Read different poetry. And I sat back there and I said, oh my goodness, please don't be too candid. Because I'm like, yes, and it was so good. And you read a particular poem about the bear.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Let me tell you something. Sometimes I have poems that wake me up in the middle of the night. And that was a poem that woke me up in the middle of the night. When I just said, okay, I'm gonna get up and write this poem. And my husband knows, he'll say, are you writing? I said, yes, because I'll have to get up. There's a really famous poet, his name was Robert Lowell. And he said that in the night, poems would wake him up and he would go back to sleep. And he said the next thing he knew, Elizabeth Bishop, who was a friend of his, another famous poet, had published his poem. So the poem will leave you and go to someplace else. So that poem woke me up in the middle of the night, and I could not sleep, and I got up and I wrote that poem.
Wow. So in other words, it's a calling for you.
It's a calling. Oh yeah, I think poetry is divinely, I think anybody who writes the truth is divinely inspired, because a lot of times the ideas are bigger than we are. I had a colleague of mine tell me once, long time ago, she said, you understand that the poems are just coming through you.
Wow.
And
that's beautiful.
I said, yeah, I think that that's true if you will allow yourself to be a vessel and have the courage to say what is true. The poems will come through you, and the poems will wake you up in the middle of the night.
I believe that. I've experienced that, and I would shy away from writing poetry.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It will run you down.
And it has. And I said, sometimes I said, I'm going to detour myself. I'm a detour myself. I'm not going to write about that because I know if I write about it, it might manifest. And it's happened to me. And I would say, I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to write this. I journal when I'm angry. I said, okay, well, you know what? I want to become a writer. I want to find out why I really like to write. But the first thing I wrote was poetry. Yeah. That was the very first thing that I wrote. And then some people say, oh, well, you wanted to be a rapper when you were 15. I did. Who did want to be Salt and Pepper?
Well, a rapper is a poet.
Exactly. My point. But my grandmother was like, leave that alone.
Rap comes out of poetry. If we look at people way back, people like Langston Hughes, what does he say? Have you dug the thrill of Sugar Hill?
Right.
Harlem Sweeties. It's like, oh, okay, I see that. And you Gil Scott, this comes straight out of poetry. Rap is straight out of particularly the Black poetic tradition. I don't know why people don't see that.
I don't either, because the way it's so, when you listen to rap, it is so spirit felt. Yeah. I mean, well, some of the music that we hear now is not, but that is a function. But if you think about rap, the origins of rap, because rap really comes out of my generation. I know young people don't believe that, but you think about all the rappers, all the old school rappers now are grandparents. They are. Great grands. They might be great.
Right. They old. Right. They old now. But that came out of protest poetry. I'm going to tell you what's going on in the community. Fight the power. Fight the power. I mean, come on, like what?
Yeah. What? I agree. 911
I guess I can't say ends with attitude. I can't say that. I guess I can't say that.
You can say what on this couch. We're candid.
Okay, so
you can speak freely.
So niggas with attitude. It's like all of that comes out of that place. And then what happens is it became popular and people saw an opportunity to make money. And then they turned rap into something that it was not.
I agree.
And the commercialized version of it was owned by, let's see, how can I say this? Owned by companies run by unmelanated people. I'm just going to say that.
Well, you can say it. I can say ran by white folk.
Yeah.
And that's how we lost the spirit of it.
And we lost the spirit of what it was, what it was about, what it used to be, what it was trying to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. When I was, growing up, the lyrics were different and they meant something.
They meant something because they really were about looking around and saying, this is what is happening in our community. This is what is destroying us. This is what we got to fight. And then now it's,
Sexy Red and all of those. Well,
whatever, man.
Earlier you were talking, and one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, how many books do you have?
So I have 2 complete collections of my own, and then I have my work in various other books. So I've got a lot of anthologized work. And so if you count the number of books in which my work appears, you're probably talking about 8 or 9 different books. Working on a book now, which will be wholly my collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I hope
another book that's going to be wholly my collection.
Will we see you at the next book fair, because you weren't there for the last one?
I don't go. So I don't sell my own books very often. So I don't go to a lot of book fairs unless I get invited. And they take care of the book sales, that kind of thing. But I will try to make it. And my schedule is usually crazy.
I would hope to see you at the next one.
I still do have a day job that I have to,
you do.
I have to maintain.
So
pay the bills.
Have you ever found yourself, in order to protect someone that you love, going to write some poetry?
Oh, that's an interesting question. In order to protect someone I love. I don't think directly, no, that I've written a poem to protect someone I love. I think I've written poems out of love.
Okay.
I think I've written poems about people I love. I think I've written poems to keep me from lashing out at people, you know, in unproductive ways, that kind of thing. But I don't think I've written a poem specifically to protect someone I love. I will say that probably I have written poems to protect a people that I love.
Oh.
Because How to Survive the Apocalypse was really about what Black people have survived. And the argument in the book is that we have survived it through our creativity. That people look at Black people and they see deficiency. And I tell my students all the time, Black people are the least deficient people on the planet. You give us the scraps from the hogs, the ears, the tail, the feet, the guts, and we make something delicious out of it. You give us the stalks from the greens and we make pot liquor. You give us the worn out scraps of clothing and bits of whatever, we make quilts. Not only quilts that are beautiful, but quilts that mean something. We ain't got nothing else, we'll make a garden.
We will.
You know,
and neck bones and rice.
And neck bones and rice. Neck bones and rice.
Pun intended. It's another poem.
It's another poem. Neck bones and rice. And this idea of we don't just make do, we make it do. And so whatever it is, every American art form comes out of the African American community. Every original American art form comes out of the African American community. The Black church has its own theology. They took that religion that was really being rammed down their throats and they made it their own. They made a God they could worship. As opposed to one that would enslave them.
That's something else, right?
You know, Black people are genius. We are the original people. We are genius.
We are.
And this is why people have to work so hard to tell us we don't matter, to erase us, to tell us we're nothing. At the same time, emulating us and taking all of our culture, all of our style, all of our genius, suppressing our stories, suppressing our, think about all the things that Black people have invented. And I went to this museum of Black inventions, and this is what I noticed. I said, a lot of Black people were engaged in domestic labor. This is why they invented things like the vacuum cleaner and the ironing board and the this, that, and the other to make their domestic labor easy.
That's correct.
I'm like,
but you wouldn't know that.
Duh.
Because they won't talk about it.
Duh.
And we have someone that's trying to erase that.
Well, people have been trying to erase us forever, and we still unerased.
We are. You know what? When you say that, and another question just popped in my head, and I've heard people talk about it. What do you and how do you feel about the critical race theory?
So it's really funny because critical race theory is such a non-entity. So critical race theory has been around for a long time. It was pretty much only taught in law schools. No K through 12 teacher ever taught critical race theory. No college teacher ever taught critical race theory unless you were teaching something in legal studies, and then probably not very much. And so my question always was, why come up with these laws against critical race theory? And I thought, because this is a smokescreen in order to erase Black history, in order to confuse people. I mean, the superintendent of the state of Alabama had to come out with the statement that said, critical race theory has never been taught in Alabama schools. Like most people don't even know what it is, and it's not a thing. But the legislature wrote a law against critical race theory. And so you have to say, okay, what is not being said? What that law really is about is the erasure of not just Black history, but American history. Because the fact that there were laws that that allowed the segregation of Black and brown and yellow bodies, the fact that and red, we forget about the native indigenous bodies, the way they have been segregated. That's just a fact of history. So what they really want to control is history that makes people feel bad. Well, history always makes people feel bad because history is full of atrocity. And so you don't need to erase critical race theory, which is the study of these laws. You need to stop committing atrocities.
Behind it, with that being the face.
Correct. It's like, it's the most ridiculous thing, but it's a head fake.
It is, but when you're not informed,
When you're not informed.
you don't know.
And I've heard Black people say, yeah, that critical race theory. And you say, what is it?
They don't know.
Crickets.
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't even know. I teach critical theory, and we don't even talk about critical race theory because it's late 20th century and we can never get to it. And it really is the study of these laws that have led to systematic oppression. The laws are there, and they did what they did, and they continue to do what they do. And I don't care how many laws you pass against critical race theory, you can't erase the history.
You can't. Well, you have one person that's trying to do that by getting rid of so many different things.
And you're just driving people to it. Because now you got more people trying to read the history than ever before.
Yes.
So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
One of the things that I was talking with one of my team members about yesterday is we were talking about some things that were going on. I said, well, the best way when you want to eradicate or you want to remove something is you be quiet.
Yeah.
It'll go away.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to be quiet, but we're not going to go away. So it's every time you're trying to remove, we're going to come up with something ingenious to make sure that we're here.
Oh, yeah.
So we won't go away.
Yeah.
I know
Never.
Going back to your poems, right? Listening to you speak today and thinking about your poems, are all of your poems sort of political?
So most of my poems are political because that's what I'm interested in. I am interested in the confluence of history to the contemporary moment because Faulkner says the past is never dead. It's not even past, and that's particularly true for the South. That this moment that we're living in right now, we can trace back throughout our history. Like we didn't just get to this moment.
Right.
These moments have origins. These are the things we've been arguing about, talking about, fighting about for centuries. And so I'm interested in those connections. I'm interested when I have a poem about Ahmaud Arbery being murdered. And I trace it back to Mary Turner. And Mary Turner is the famous woman, a Black woman in the early 20th century in Georgia, who went to inquire about her husband who had been lynched. And her husband had been lynched because another Black man allegedly had committed a crime. They could not find the other Black man because he had run off. And so they lynched her husband, even though he was a well-respected Black man.
Oh, wow.
And they liked him, but they wanted, somebody had to pay.
Take the phone.
So when she was 8 months pregnant, and she went to the sheriff to inquire about why they had done this thing to her husband, and they took her and they hung her upside down, split her belly open, and crushed her baby under their feet.
No way.
And
wow,
this story is so horrific. What kind of people have the imagination and the will to do that, the inhumanity to do that. You would not do that to an animal. You would not do that to any creature. And so, to me, those men who chased Ahmaud Arbery, all they could see was something that had to be eradicated, someone who had crossed a boundary. So I have to draw a line in the sand. And whether they realized it or not, they were following a tradition of violence to keep people in place. And so I wrote, a poem called Running in America. And my youngest son is a runner, and he was running all the time. And I was always afraid that something would happen to him, because, he just runs all over. And he's young, and he's not thinking about these histories in the way that I am. But I'm thinking Ahmaud Arbery could have been my son. He was my son. In many ways. And even if they thought he was stealing, whatever they thought he was doing, did he deserve to be shot? Is that what we're doing now? We executing people in the street?
Right.
So whatever you thought, and what they really thought was that he was running in their neighborhood, he crossed a boundary.
It was personal for them.
It was personal. Breonna Taylor was personal. Tamir Rice was personal. We can just keep Philando Castile, personal. We can just keep calling the names over and over again. But that has a history, and that history goes back to racialized violence and lynching. So I like to draw those connections.
Wow. And you just connected all of those dots, and it made a lot of sense to me. I don't believe, if we didn't have poets like yourself, I don't think people in our newer generation would really get it. So I saw so many young people that were there yesterday.
I was glad to see that.
And they were shocked. They were shocked. And when I went to class today, a lot was saying, "Oh, did you hear that poem? And that was so deep." And it was just like, wow, it brought up memories. It was when I was in high school, and you know what era I was, because we would be afraid to go outside at a certain time when the street lights came on. You were in, because they were taking young students from Memphis and hanging them in Mississippi. So it's scary to me to see it back, and it's in our face. Whereas our mothers shielded us, and we had villages, and we don't have villages anymore. So it's interesting. I'm glad that you're here. I do have a question for you.
Sure.
With all of these things that you are, and being a poet, when you put all of these things aside, what goes on in your mind?
Ooh, it's a straight trip to Crazy Town. My children will tell you, because I'm just, I'm like, I love to do all these other things. I love theater. I love television. I am a television. When you said Netflix, I'm like, yes.
Oh, what's your favorite show?
Oh my gosh! Whatever I'm watching right now.
The Residence is really.
I loved The Residence.
Yes.
And they're not gonna have a second season of that.
Well, because Malcolm is gone. Wasn't he good though?
That was so good.
Oh my goodness. When I say that was a really great show, and somebody told me, "Oh, you need to check out The Residence." I don't want to watch that.
No.
Oh, it is so good. So what is your favorite show?
Oh my God. So I love British mysteries. I think my favorite show right now might be something like Ludwig. Have you seen Ludwig?
I have not.
So Ludwig is actually on BritBox. Ludwig is about a man who solves murders, but he is a puzzle maker.
Really?
So every murder he sees, he thinks about the type of puzzle it represents, and then he solves it.
Oh, I need to check that out for sure.
It is so good. And he's a twin. His twin is actually the detective, but they thought it's mistaken identity. It's a mystery within a mystery. It's all these things going on.
Ludwig.
I'm
gonna check that out.
It's after they play Beethoven. because he's named after, Ludwig von Beethoven, which is how he signs his puzzles, Ludwig.
I need to check that out.
Check it out.
Definitely.
I love Death in Paradise. Do you know Death in Paradise?
No.
Oh my God, that's a great show set in a Caribbean. It now has an all-black cast.
Really?
Yes. And it's set on this island of Guadeloupe and Saint Marie, and it's kind of a comedy mystery. There's a new murder every week. Love it.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Check it out.
I am. So I know that I've had you in here longer than 30 minutes. And I want to tell you again, thank you so much for interviewing with me. Can you tell our audience something that is fun about you? Just a fun fact.
Fun fact. Fun fact. I love to cook. This is funny. My son is asking me, I think I mentioned in the thing, I had a son who passed away. So our youngest son asked me all these random questions. He says, Mama, tell me something I don't know about you. Because he's trying to chronicle, because there's so many things that you don't ask people and then they're gone and you can't ask them. So I said, well, when I was young, I used to be a swimsuit model in the mall.
Really?
Weird fact.
What? I would have never thought. You seem so conservative.
Oh God. You don't know me, child.
Listen, I could tell when I read the neck bones and rice.
Yes.
I said, I already know what I'm dealing with. Okay, which is so great. You are just really clever, and I love the hooks and the leads that you give because it makes us want to continue to read.
Thank you.
I would say this. What would you say to the students who, one, are fearful of following their dreams with poetry and English?
So my mother said to me when I decided to be I was always going to be an English major. I was always going to be a writer. She said, "You're going to starve. You got a minor in business," which I did, and I hate it. But at Huntington, you didn't have to go to class. You could contract to just write so many papers.
Really?
This was way back in the day.
Oh,
and,
wow. I would love to do that.
You just read the textbook, you would go in and take the test, and then you could write the papers. And I was an English major, so I'm like, child, please, I'll write these little papers all day long.
Ah, yes.
And I hated every aspect of business management except for computers.
Really?
I loved computer programming.
Wow.
I loved computer programming, and I actually, when I was like a junior or senior, got recruited to be a computer programmer. They came down to, talk to all the students, and I was one of the students they recommended, and I would have had a very different life and a very different career. I would be retired and rich now, but whatever. But here's the thing. Would I have been happier? No.
Really? You don't think so?
Oh, I know not. Because the joy of reading, the joy of writing, the joy of creating something out of nothing that people say, oh, I love that, or that spoke to me, or that meant so much to me. I don't think there's anything like it. The joy of teaching. I love teaching. Teaching sort of began for me as a way to have time to write. And then I became more interested in the teaching than the writing at one point.
Do you think it's the students?
Oh, I love students. I think students are great because students are, even when they pretend not to be, everybody wants to know.
They do. Even the non-traditional ones like myself.
Everybody wants to know. And if you can hook them into saying, to thinking about what they want to know, you've got them forever.
You do.
Yeah.
That's true.
And just seeing the light bulbs go off in people's heads as they come to know something different than they thought, and they've been thinking this forever, and then all of a sudden they go, wait a minute.
That's what that means.
What?
Yes.
I mean,
yes. The aha moment.
The joy.
Yeah.
And so I think that if English is your joy, look, you can make money doing anything. There is nothing, you can make money cleaning houses, right? You can develop a business cleaning houses, whatever. And so don't be afraid. If you follow your joy, your bliss, you will never work a day in your life.
Oh, I love it. You'll be happy.
You'll be happy.
Something you truly want to do.
Yeah.
So in 3 words, this is my favorite line that I love to say before we close it on out. What would you tell our Hornets about staying inspired and engaged?
Be curious always.
You heard it, Hornets. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Trimble. It was an absolute pleasure sitting on this candid couch speaking with you today. It was amazing.
It was a pleasure for me too. Thank you so much.
Well, be good or be good at it.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This was absolutely amazing. You are just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
So
for
sweet.
me to see you sitting up there and listening to you, everything you said, I resonated with.
Oh, I'm glad.
And it was a younger lady that you had, an older, wiser lady that was sitting there.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned her, and she said she remembered.
Georgia at Norman.
That's so powerful.
She is one of my just icons. This woman has had an amazing life. She's done so much stuff.
This has made me want to continue to go and not quit.
Don't quit.
Sometimes I get so discouraged.
You do. Don't quit.
And I'm thankful.
Listen, when I went back to get my PhD, I had a 1-year-old and 3-year-old child. My husband had to work 2 jobs because we lost, half our income. He worked 2 full-time jobs, and he said, the only thing I ask of you is don't come back down that road without that degree. And I used to commute up to Alabama every day. I even taught 8 o'clock classes at the University of Alabama. And there are so many days I wanted to quit. There were so many nights I was so tired that I wanted to quit. But I didn't quit, because you can always quit. But the thing that will make you happy is not to quit. And the only thing it requires not to quit is just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
You're right.
Just keep one. And my son, when my other son died, my youngest son was devastated. And he sort of dropped out of school for a while. And he said, Mom, Daddy, I just can't do it. We're like, cool. Cool. And, he had a full-time job. He was supporting himself. But he said, I just can't do it. And we said, when you're ready, you will go back because this is what you want. And he did. And he graduated. And he began to move up in his company. And I'm like, one class at a time, one semester at a time, there's going to be an end. It's 120 hours.
And that's it.
And that's it. It's 120 hours. And we are all here to help you.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. And I think we all, last semester, it was so different. It was, I don't know, it was something about the air.
Yeah.
And I think we all were just needing to hear that encouragement. We needed it.
Yeah.
And to have professors like yourself, Attorney Dean, Dr. Morrison, I can list so many that have been just a really big influence on me to say, okay, you're never too old.
Oh, God, no.
And it's never too late unless you're in that eternal sleep, right?
No.
So,
you're not even, I remember when Mrs. Gratz graduated, she was like 85, but she was determined she was going to get that degree.
Well, listen, I told him I don't know how much time I have, but my intentions are very clear. I am going to have found this program that they have where I can get my master's in journalism.
Ooh.
Right. And then after I do that, 12 months, and we're going straight over to Atlanta John Marshall.
There you go. Do it.
Oh, yeah.
You can do it. You
it.
will do it. It's nothing to do it but to do it. My friend, you have some friends you've been friends with since college. He said to me, we were friends in college. He went to Alabama State. My husband went to Alabama State. we've known each other forever. And he said, I said, you know, have I waited too late? He said, time is gonna pass anyway. You might as well pass the time doing what you want to do.
Ooh, I like that.
I said,
Now on that note,
nothing but a word.
say that again.
Nothing but a word.